fans. I'm Tom McGarry, and we begin with football, as it was a big night in the Premier League on Tuesday as Liverpool thrashed Manchester United by 4-0 at Anfield. That result lifting Jurgen Klopp's side to the top of the standings, 2 points clear of Manchester City.
bring this ball forward. He finds Timo Werner. Back it'll go towards Malang Sarr. The error came from Mohamed El Neni with his loose pass, which was well intercepted by N'Golo Kante, and it is the diminutive Frenchman on the ball at the moment, finding Azpilicueta. Now with Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Has he been fouled by Gabriel? He has, says Jonathan Moss. That's going to be a free kick for Chelsea, midway inside the Arsenal half. And maybe not a prime position to go for goal, but when you've got a player like Reece James, it could be a really promising area to get the ball into the penalty box.
Yeah, they got some targets in there as well. Of course, Lukaku's playing tonight. He's a big unit. Presumably they'll send the likes of Christensen and Azpilicueta off for the back. Delivery comes in.
James towards the back post, and Ramsdale got a fingertip to it. Not sure if he was aware that he could have easily let that go. No one coming near him, as he just makes the point that he never got a call, or at least didn't hear a call, that it was just drifting out of play. Couldn't take any chances. And in that regards, you would say it's good goalkeeping, but where's the communication?
Yeah, it's a poor free kick, wasn't it? But like you say, nobody's given Ramsdale the shout, and it's obviously the pressure's still on. Better delivery this time, Chelsea will hope.
Mason Mount in the near post, almost from Kaisa Lukaku. Alonso gets a shot away. It's a big block by a mixture of Xhaka and Ben White, diverting it past the right-hand post into the side netting for what will be another corner kick. But Arsenal, well, they couldn't get the ball away.
Yeah, it was a touch fortunate because it ricocheted off Lukaku, but it went straight to Alonso. Credit to Arsenal. I mean, admittedly, they've got everybody just about back there. Xhaka and White getting in the way. Corner still on. That was a flick on at the near post. Almost well worked, but Lukaku, I don't think he reacted. It was tough because obviously it was coming from behind players. It just kind of hit him, but half a chance for Alonso.
As we await this corner kick to be taken, supposed towards the back post. It's actually headed off the line by Gabriel. Ramsdale was flapping at that one at 6s and 7s, and Arsenal will just about get the ball away as Sarr tackles Saka. But now be Nuno Tavares to bring this ball forward, and he can shift. He's got pace to burn. He's being well watched though by Loftus-Cheek and Reece James, I should say, and he runs into traffic. But Arsenal will win possession back with Emile Smith-Rowe. Options limited. Finds Nuno Tavares back towards Emile Smith-Rowe. Better football, but he can't find Eddie Nketiah. It will be Marcos Alonso that makes the clearance. Looking maybe a tad dangerous on the counter-attack, and well, with the way this opening 4-5 minutes have gone, you'd probably say that's probably going to be their best avenue for any attacks today.
Yeah, you imagine Chelsea at home are going to have a lot of the ball, but the pace on the counter could be crucial. It's not obviously the strongest defence in the world. There's no Silva, no Rudiger. It's a couple of big absences there, and I've never been convinced by Alonso's ability to defend. So, there will be opportunities on the counter, but obviously they've got to try and keep Chelsea out at the other ends. Alonso's much better going forward than he is defending. Obviously, he had that half chance a couple of minutes ago, but there will be chances for Arsenal if they can defend stoutly and keep Chelsea at bay.
Sarr going back towards Edouard Mendy, who then will bring this ball forward, finding Alonso. On the right-hand side now with Reece James, is under pressure from Emile Smith-Rowe. James turns away and finds Kante. Little 1-2 between the two Chelsea players before going back towards Christensen. Now with Malang Sarr with space to move into. Looks to play the ball through towards Werner. His pass is intercepted. Now El Neni will bring this ball forward. Under pressure from Mason Mount. Goes down and he draws the foul as well. Will be a free kick. Maybe a tad fortunate there. Mohamed El Neni wasn't aware that Mason Mount was coming up behind him. And if there is a contact, it's very minimal, but it's enough to send the Egyptian over. Free kick for the Gunners. I'm imagining they're going to try and take this short rather than force it into the area. Just seeing images of Romelu Lukaku back into the starting lineup today. Looks like he's going to track back to try and help the defence, and then he takes it short towards Granit Xhaka. Little lift over the top towards Gabriel. That's a lovely pass. Gabriel crosses to the area, and it's well saved in the end by Mendy. I'm not sure if it's a shot or if it was an intending cross. Either way, important goalkeeping by the Chelsea number one. And he does well to stick out a left leg to it.
Yeah, it didn't look particularly well-worked free kick. It was hit to Xhaka, and then Chelsea just got all sucked towards the ball. Lovely ball from Xhaka over the top, but there was 3 Chelsea players coming him down, closing him down. Nobody was tracking the runner. Reece James really got caught ball watching there, and credit to Mendy. I suppose the cross was a little bit too close to the keeper, needed to pull it back a bit, but it's a good little period for Arsenal.
As Ben White brings the ball forward, goes down, no foul given. Alonso making the interception, finding Sarr. Now Kante towards Christensen, under pressure from Ødegaard. It will go back towards Edouard Mendy. The press from the front from Arsenal, intense, but they can't win possession. As we have our first goal in the Premier League, as Leicester take the lead at Goodison Park. It's Everton 0, Leicester City 1. Harvey Barnes getting the goal for the Foxes there, as Azpilicueta will find Werner, tries to give it back to the Spaniard, intercepted by Tavares, and then he loses out inside his area. Poor defending that by the Portuguese fullback. Now with Azpilicueta towards Loftus-Cheek, important sliding tackle by Elneny to divert the ball out for a corner kick. Partial defending, but Nuno Tavares really putting his side under the cosh.
Yeah, it's a good play really from both teams. They're keen to get bodies forward. Of course, it's leading into a sort of end-to-end contest. Clear-cut chances haven't quite materialised as yet, but obviously there are opportunities there. Better final ball, and defences are going to have to keep their wits about them. But it's another corner to Chelsea. They've caused 1 or 2 issues from set pieces, the ones that we've had.
As Mount whips the ball in towards Christensen, his header back across the face will be headed away by Xhaka, back forward by Loftus-Cheek. It's White that deals with it. It wasn't offside anyway on Romelu Lukaku, and Arsenal defenders congratulate themselves for playing the offside trap, and Arsenal will look to try and clear their lines. 8.5 minutes gone in this game so far. Listening to unofficial off-tube studio commentary. Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, the current scoreline. In a game you'd probably say is more important for the Gunners than it is for the Blues in regards to getting 3 points. Chelsea have very little, if anything, to play for from a league perspective. It's highly unlikely that they'll be able to catch the front runners of Liverpool and Manchester City, and well, they basically have third place all but assured for that other automatic European qualification spot for the Champions League. Of course, that final one in 4th is what Arsenal are currently chasing. They're in 5th, 3 points behind Tottenham Hotspur, and of course, they still have Zaha. That he's been left out the starting lineup, not due to COVID, but due to personal reasons, with some links being given to the issues that Arteta had with Aubameyang, which of course led to his sale in the summer. Do you think Lacazette has been a decent signing for Arsenal ever since he moved from Lyon?
Yeah, I think he's been a decent signing. I don't think he's often got perhaps underutilised when Aubameyang was there, and you know, often he's sort of farmed out position. Could be a chance here for Lukaku, who just stayed onside. He's into the box, shot is low, and it's past the keeper, past the far post. Didn't look a convincing shot, but it was too wide of Ramsdale. Because he dived, it perhaps ultimately made it a little bit closer than it was, than it ended up. I mean, it's got to be down as half a chance, but with his right foot, it was always going across the keeper, past the far post, and in the end, it missed by a fair margin, in truth. But just for a moment there was space in behind the Arsenal defence.
It's a sign of a striker who is really struggling for confidence and form as of yet. Hasn't really had the greatest return to Chelsea, as many would have expected him to after his wonderful campaign at Inter Milan. As Xhaka lifts it over towards Odegaard, he'll let that go for Bukayo Saka, who we really haven't seen a great deal of in these opening 10, almost 11 minutes. As Saka finds Odegaard, has support in Ben White, and so will come back towards Holding. That's an awful pass by Rob Holding behind Mohamed Elneny, and now Chelsea will bring this ball forward with Timo Werner, swarmed by men in red, but Mount now finds Loftus-Cheek. And 30 yards out, goes back towards Kante, well tackled by Nketiah. He's going to send that out for a throw-in for Chelsea. And I feel like a lot of the errors at the moment coming from Arsenal are players that were brought in for this game. Holding and Elneny has been caught out on a number of occasions.
Yeah, I thought that was a little bit too safe, though, from Chelsea. They made sure that the pass reached the target, as opposed to using Werner's pace and getting it for him to run onto. Mount played it behind him, really, just to make sure he got there. And I didn't think Arsenal were overly exposed on that particular occasion. But like you say, they're making some mistakes, and can ill afford to do that. Sooner or later, someone's going to create a chance. And obviously, Ben White play a little bit out of position. You might add an extra dimension to Arsenal's set pieces, of course, but they play a little bit out of position. And obviously Elneny, perhaps not having played much this season, it might just take a little while for them to get to grips with the game plan, etc. But yeah, I think they've been relatively pleased with the start, because 12 minutes gone, Chelsea really have only had that Lukaku opening, I thought, so far, and Arsenal haven't quite got going yet.
And they really haven't. They've struggled to create too much, with their only effort being a shot come cross from Gabriel. which was well dealt with by Edouard Mendy in the end. As the clearance is made by Holding, Nketiah will try and hound Christensen. It's not the greatest back pass, and Nketiah's 1-on-1 with Edouard Mendy. One opportunity, it's Eddie Nketiah, and it's 1-0 to Arsenal. Oh, it's an absolute howler from Andreas Christensen, and it's Nketiah who's been starved of goals and starved of starts, you should really say, for the Gunners, who latches onto it, and he's so composed, slotting it to the bottom right-hand corner. Big goal for the Gunners.
Yeah, massive goal. I mean, we're just talking about Arsenal, making one or two little mistakes and giving their possession away. They look to have this covered. Christensen's there, but it just bounced, maybe sat up on him, and therefore he didn't get the contact. I like the way he was blaming Mendy there for not coming 10 yards out of his area. Of course, he was staying back for the back pass. But yeah, cool finish though, because he's held off Sarr. I thought Sarr did well not to bring him down. It'd be easy to sort of make a challenge there. You might as well take the punishment, let him have his shot rather than go down to 10 men after 13 minutes. So in a way, that's a credit, but he's kept his composure there. He hasn't played that often this season, but he's just got a goal tidily put away, and Arsenal now have something to hold on to and close on Spurs.
Yes, when they really do need to hold on to it after having a torrid run of form. A 3-0 defeat to Crystal Palace, 2-1 defeat at home to Brighton, and 1-0 most recently away from home at St Mary's against Southampton. And a poor run of form against sides when you really would have expected them to win at least two, possibly all three of them. And, well, getting a goal against Chelsea is massive for them. They haven't beaten any of the top three in the 5 meetings this season. In fact, they've lost all 5, not even a solitary point for them. As N'Golo Kante goes back towards Andreas Christensen, he's going to have to try and get that error out of his head as quick as possible, and Chelsea will look to try and press forward as Mount finds Sarr. Here's Marcos Alonso back towards Malang Sarr. Looks for support, and he looks to spread it towards Reece James on the right-hand side. James to Azpilicueta. Loftus-Cheek is, I thought was offside, but the flag has stayed down from the linesman. Here's James back again towards Christensen, and Nketiah putting the pressure on. Christensen lifts it high, header away by Tavares, who does well to find Smith Rowe. Has he been fouled by Reece James? No, says the referee. Will be a throw-in for Arsenal. On that far left-hand side, as we've seen Arteta barking a few orders out at his side. Unsure if he's a little bit concerned with Ben White as the camera lingered on him. Not sure if he is just carrying a knock. Last thing Arsenal need is to add to their defensive injury crisis. Tavares puts the ball out of play for another throw-in for Chelsea. He's another player that's been a little bit error-strewn today so far. The young Portuguese fullback, of course, on the side for the injured Kieran Tierney. Sarr spreads it wide for Marcos Alonso. Away from Ben White, under pressure, goes back towards Sarr. And again, Chelsea try and work it out from the back. You've got to say, the press from Arsenal from the front has been incredibly admirable.
Yeah, it's full of energy, isn't it? It's a youthful lineup, as we know, and they want to make an impression. And obviously, they've got that goal to sort of defend, and they want to do it. I mean, 71% possession for Chelsea. They're going to have to sustain the running around quite... If they continue to leak that sort of possession, they're going to have to do a lot of running. So some might be interesting for Arsenal later in the game, depending on what happens. But Chelsea haven't been able to respond since the goal. It's because 5-6 Arsenal players pressurising, not quite Mendy, but the targets that he could potentially pass to. So they're really trying to push Chelsea back, and so far it's working.
Yes, it is, as Timo Werner cuts away from Rob Holding. Werner looks for Ruben Loftus-Cheek on the edge of the area. Lukaku to Mason Mount. This is better, and it's Gabriel that just about deals with it, hooking the ball away. Be kept in by Bukayo Saka. Now with El Neni. Saka again towards Nketiah. His pass cut out by Loftus-Cheek, who was alert to the danger. And now Timo Werner, edge of the area, looks to get a shot away. Takes a big deflection, and it's ended up in the back of the net. And Chelsea do get their equalising goal. It's a real shocker for Arsenal to concede so soon after taking the lead. And Chelsea, well, based on possession, they deserve it. But once again, the defensive frailties of Arsenal, once again showing their true faces.
Do you know what? I'm not convinced this isn't a Ramsdale error. He it took forever to react to it. Now, I know it's come through a crowd of players, but it's almost deflected towards him. But we were talking about the errors moments ago. Arsenal have given it away in their own half. Now, I didn't think that's a great shot, but I've got no idea what Ramsdale is doing here. It's gone fairly close to him, but he just doesn't react. It's gone past, is that Holding just behind everybody? And okay, he's seen it late, but it's not as if it's in the corner. It's in the middle half of his right-hand side, and I just don't see the reaction being so slow. So, do you know what? I think it's a Ramsdale error there. But, you know, Chelsea lucky to get that goal of the Arsenal straight back on the attack. Smith Rowe can't collect in the Chelsea box, and Chelsea are able to clear.
Yeah, I think I would have to agree with you. Looking at the replay, the only thing I could possibly think of is that Ramsdale maybe slightly unsighted by Holding. He thinks he's going to move his chest into the ball to deflect it away, and Holding pulls out the last minute. But even so, a goalkeeper playing in the Premier League, you'd expect him to have supreme reactions, or at least react far quicker than he did there. It's a really poor goal for Arsenal to concede in a game that they realistically need 3 points, though a draw against this Chelsea side might be at least something to take away with them, especially as they've lost their last 3. But the way things are going, it looks like they'll just continually create opportunities as Mason Mount flashes an effort on the half volley wide of Ramsdale's goal. They are leaking quite clear opportunities at the moment, the Gunners, and maybe on another occasion Mason Mount could have at least hit the target there.
Yeah, again, a little bit unfortunate in the sense that Werner's cross was actually charged down by Ben White, but it's gone to Alonso between Arsenal players, and he's teed up Mount. You might expect Mount to hit the target on another day. I thought, you know, for the Werner goal, he was in acres of space in the D, and I thought Werner was being a little bit greedy going for goal, but he obviously took a deflection because it was charged down, and it beat the keeper. But Mason Mount was just in acres if he'd squared it to him. I mean, obviously that particular chance has gone in, but in a similar kind of position there, left of the D, I think Mount should be hitting the target. But yeah, the problem for Arsenal is they weren't in front for too long, were they? We were saying the press was quite good and stopping Chelsea getting out. A deflected goal, all of a sudden Chelsea are camped around the Arsenal box.
Yes, they need to press higher up the field, do the Gunners, as the ball ends up all the way back with Edouard Mendy. He will take his time and he floats it long, intending for Lukaku. Be header away by Holding. Gabriel looking to find Smith Rowe. His header won by James. Azpilicueta towards Kante. Now Christensen. There's more on it this time to go back towards Edouard Mendy. Mendy in turn will find Christensen once again. Can Arsenal just find another gear to go up in there, being a little bit lackadaisical as Saka gets frustrated with his lack of support with the press going forward, and the ball down the line by Alonso. Find Lukaku, and Ramsdale does well to put the ball out of play for a throw-in. Was quick off his line and manages to beat Lukaku to the ball under a slight collision, but not enough to send the keeper down for a prolonged period. As Mount gets away from Saka, now with Sarr towards Christensen. Christensen has support in Reece James. James in turn finding Azpilicueta. Turns away from Tavares. Poor pass there by Azpilicueta. Goes out for a throw-in for Arsenal. Martin Ødegaard has the captain's armband today. I think it's an interesting choice from Mikel Arteta. He's shown faith in the Norwegian. I'm not entirely convinced he's the leader that Arsenal have been looking for. Of course, Granit Xhaka is still on the field of play. He was the previous captain, despite maybe some Arsenal fans not liking that, as Tavares is caught nastily, I think, by Mason Mount, and then barks at the Portuguese fullback. So John Moss, I imagine, is going to have a few words with Mason Mount. It's going to be a throw-in. I don't think it's going to be a free kick. I wouldn't mind seeing a replay of that. And you never really like to see a player sort of bark at another player when he's down, as we'll see a replay here. I mean, the angle we've been given, it's inconclusive.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a piece of the ball. He's blocked the ball, but, I mean, he's trying to block... Tavares is trying to kick the ball, and he's come on with his studs up to block the clearance. I'm not saying it's malicious, but you so often see that as a foul the other way, even if they get the ball, because at the very least, the guy who's kicking it, as it turns out, it's Tavares in this instance, he's going to be booting the soul of the opponent coming in. Time and time again, that's often given as a yellow card. So John Moss, well, is hopefully, in terms of just my preference, he's going to let things go, because you've seen that yellow card in so many times that it's a little bit surprising. But when he didn't get the yellow card or he didn't get the free kick, he got up and took the throw-in, so you know he was milking it a fraction.
As Nketiah turns away from Christensen, goes back towards Ben White, under pressure from Werner, holding in turn to go back towards Ramsdale. Chelsea putting the high press on this time. Ramsdale spreading it left towards Gabriel. Here's Smith Rowe, under pressure from Azpilicueta. Back it goes towards Gabriel. Now with Xhaka. Being patient, Arsenal, but maybe too patient, as Kante almost intercepts. Odegaard wins possession and finds Saka on the right-hand side, who has very little in the way of support. Saka will bring this ball forward. Takes on Marcos Alonso. Puts it through his legs as well. Fantastic play by Bukayo Saka, trying to find Nketiah. Gets a shot away, and it almost deflected into the back of the net. I'm not sure if he even did take a deflection. It might have just kicked it into the floor there, Eddie Nketiah. But Arsenal, they're not creating a lot, but whenever they do, it's a clear opportunity.
Yeah, that's a great bit of play from Saka. He feigned to come inside. Obviously, he's left-footed, and that just fooled Alonso. But it's not great defending from Alonso, I have to say. It's pretty poor, but he's put it on a play for Nketiah. Admittedly, Nketiah's getting closed down and he's striking the ball, but as we see, he's totally miskicked that. We thought it was a deflection initially, but it's not. It's just a horrible connection on his right foot, 12 yards out. He's got to at least hit the target, and that's a pretty big opportunity for Arsenal, particularly considering their lack of possession.
As Nketiah goes back towards Granit Xhaka. Odegaard around 30 yards. He might have a effort here. Now back towards Bukayo Saka, taking on Alonso, and will get a shot away. Takes a big deflection. Nketiah towards Tavares, who does well to get on the end of it, but he could do nothing more but to flick it back to from where the cross came from. He's offside anyway, so it wouldn't have counted, but that's another chance going begging for the Gunners. We have passed the halfway point of this first half. It is Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1, and taking us through to half-time will be Rob Eddy.
Yeah, cheers, Will. Looking at a replay, he probably is just a fraction offside, but there isn't much in it there. And the last two attacks for Arsenal, if there's any encouragement, is get Saka running against Alonso, because at the moment he hasn't found an answer yet. Obviously, Chelsea have lost possession so far, so we haven't seen it an awful lot, but that's got to be encouraging for the Gunners going forward, as Lukaku gets a flick on from the resulting free kick, but only finds Gabriel. It's cleared up towards the halfway line. Lukaku and El Neni come together. I don't really think either made contact with the ball, but it's worked by Xhaka up to the halfway line. Reece James has it for Chelsea. They are being forced back to Mendy, with the game entering the 26th minute. 1-1 at Stamford Bridge. Independent unofficial off-duty studio commentary. Arsenal taking the lead through Nketiah. Werner with a deflected equaliser. But Ramsdale might have done better on another day. But there have been other chances for both sides, so this might not stay 1-1, as Arsenal have got a bit of possession, albeit inside their own half at the moment. It's at the feet of Ramsdale now. El Neni square to Holding, who's forced the mistake out of Ben White, because it wasn't a great ball played into the box towards Werner, who tries to cut inside Gabriel. Then it took a deflection, and then it was left by Arsenal, Ramsdale, and I'm not sure if he got a shout there, but that wasn't that far away from a Chelsea player. But Arsenal have actually worked it well to Saka on the right, coming inside Sarr this time to Odegaard. Side-footed shot! First time from Emil Smith-Rowe, has beaten Mendy. He didn't give the keeper time to set. He just ran onto it, stroked it inside the far post. The chance almost at the Chelsea end, worked straight down the other end of the field, and Emil Smith-Rowe has a goal to put Arsenal back in front, 2-1. And Arsenal, well, they're understandably delighted.
Well, I'm baffled where that came from, if I'm perfectly honest, Rob, because it looked like they were making a real hash of things from a defensive point of view, trying to dribble the ball away. I think in the end, Xhaka puts it through the legs of Marcos Alonso in order to get the ball away. Holding almost lost it as well. There's Xhaka that tackles Lukaku, and you've got to give Granit Xhaka a lot of credit there, being so composed. Finds Odegaard, and then the break. Well, they break really quickly, and Saka is very smart here. Could easily break down the line, but he sees the gap for Martin Odegaard, who just sees the run of Smith-Rowe, and how about that for a finish? First time, he just rolls it in the bottom right-hand corner. Arguable that Mendy could do a bit better, but maybe he's just a little bit flat-footed. He's not expecting that effort, or at least with that sort of accuracy. And Emil Smith-Rowe finds the back of the net yet again, and Arsenal, maybe on the balance of possession-wise, undeservedly so, well, they're back in the lead.
Yeah, we were saying they're creating big chances when they do get chances. That's a 10th Premier League goal for Emil Smith-Rowe. I think he's the Gunners' top scorer, is he? Well, yeah, confirmed.
Indeed.
And he doesn't start all that often. Obviously, he's had one or two injury issues as well, as Xhaka dispossesses Loftus-Cheek, who made an absolute mess of trying to win a free kick there because Xhaka didn't even move towards the ball. And Loftus-Cheek found himself on the ground, but it's a poor pass from Arsenal, so Chelsea come again with Mason Mount, 30 yards out, feeding it to Marcus Alonso on the left, ball back into Mount, but El Neni read the danger, and Saka is back there helping out. Then it's a poor pass from Saka straight to his opposite number, Kante, and Chelsea have it through Marcus Alonso inside the Arsenal half, forced back towards the halfway line, and Sarr goes infield to Christensen, Reece James, and he's looking for an option. He's not got one at the moment, as the game is into the 29th minute. Arsenal twice in front now. Can they make this lead last a little bit longer as Werner goes down the line for Alonso, drills in a low cross, blocked by Anelny behind. Corner kick to the Gunners, so Chelsea trying to respond straight away.
Yes, well, they did so after they went behind in the first place, and they looked, they always look dangerous going forward at the moment. It looks like they're always going to create an opportunity just with the errors that are coming in this Arsenal defence. They're really struggling to really test Ramsdale at the moment. Whenever it's gone on target, it seems to have been in the back of the net, or Ramsdale's made an error. So if they can do something similar here, they could be in big trouble here, the Gunners.
Mount's gone towards the near post. It is flicked on, but it's an Arsenal player. I think it was Xhaka who's backheaded it over everybody as Tavares was trying to run it clear, but he's tackled. Ball comes back in towards the penalty spot, and White just got bigger than Timo Werner there. Pressure's still on because Mount has it to Alonso on the left angle of the box, but he took too long to make up his mind and ultimately is forced back towards the centre circle where Sarr finds Reece James. And the Gunners have got everybody back behind the ball at the moment. Sarr's fine, Loftus-Cheek back to him though. Now Sarr drills it out to the left-hand side. Not sure who his target was there because Saka heads it up towards the halfway line. Clearing. Kante picks it up for the Blues again. As Chelsea just try and find a way through. It's quite, the pace of the game is quite walking pace at the moment because from that set piece, Arsenal have got everybody back. At the moment, there are no gaps as Sarr tries to play it down the line towards Lukaku. Holding heads it up in the air. Then again, before it's hacked away by Gabriel. Lukaku didn't have much support there. Was chasing the first cross, the first ball down the line, and then the header. Nobody else was helping him out. As we pass the half-hour point, Arsenal leading at Stamford Bridge by 2 goals. Ben White is just having a talking to from John Moss. Not entirely sure what that was about. Because obviously if he did something bad, it was a free kick to Chelsea. But so there's some kind of warning there. Maybe Ben White felt he could have got a free kick. I don't know. Obviously we're not privy to it. As Chelsea get the ball rolling again. Christensen in the centre circle. Sarr looking for an option. Lukaku is lurking on the edge of the box. Others are trying to get closer to the ball. So he's a little bit isolated at the moment, Lukaku. I mean, he really hasn't got into this game. 31 minutes ticking over. And, well, that's been a problem since that outburst for Chelsea, hasn't it? All of a sudden, he looks kind of a lone figure up front for Chelsea whenever he plays.
He really does. He doesn't get much in the way of support from both his teammates and fans at the moment as Mount does really well to the step. It's a dangerous ball in, and suddenly it's 2 apiece. And again, you'd probably have to say it's come from another Arsenal error, sloppily giving away possession. It's a wonderful crossover by Mason Mount, seeing Azpilicueta at the back post, and he guides his effort into the bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah, they just got caught in possession again, didn't they? They could have done a little. Bit. An Arsenal advantage doesn't last very long. What's that? That one 5 minutes. The first lead lasted 4.
Well, it's an improvement, as minimal as it is, but Mikel Arteta is going to be furious with his side for allowing that equaliser to come into play, as I think John Moss has just trying to get the game going again. I think there might have been a brief VAR check, really not sure what that was going to be about. But Arsenal, when they're going forward, they're looking dangerous. They're looking like they can test this Chelsea defence, and obviously they've already scored twice already. But if you're going to score twice at Stamford Bridge, realistically, you need to have a good defence, and then you can have a decent victory. As Nketiah pulls out another really good effort from around 30 yards out, has Mendy sprawling to his left-hand side, and that's not too far away either.
Yeah, Timo Werner felt he could have had a free kick there because he went for the header, and Ben White went with the boot, and he's left himself on the deck. But that's not the first time that John Moss has let something go. Werner stayed down though, and of course the ball hadn't gone out of play, so Chelsea were defending with 10 men. And yeah, it's not that far away from Nketiah with his left boot, who's just always arcing away. Here's Tavares on the overlap down the left-hand side. The low ball in, Fizz right across, nobody's there. And he's gone behind for a goal kick to Chelsea. But down the flanks, they're having plenty of joy at the Gunners. On this occasion, it's Tavares showing his pace, and that's a wicked ball in. Unfortunately for him, he perhaps just played it a touch too early.
Yeah, maybe so, but he had a space to run into, and he did well, got power behind it. Not sure if he's going for goal or if it's a cross. Either way, maybe could have done a little bit better. I mean, from a neutral perspective, it's been a fantastic watch this game, but mainly due to the fact that the defending from both sides has been really, really poor.
Yeah, certainly there have been mistakes out there. 2-2. I didn't think it'd stay at 1-1, and considering the fourth goal has gone in the 32nd minute, I don't think it's going to say 2-2.
No, I think I'd have to agree with you there. I mean, with the way the game's going, it would not surprise me if the scoreline doubles but come the 90th minute.
Alonso turns nicely on the halfway line because he was under pressure there. Lukaku tries to get involved. He does well to hold it up, but then he's under pressure when he's trying to feed the ball through to Mason Mount. He loses possession. It's cleared by Arsenal up to the halfway line. Christensen is then caught in possession by Nketiah, and he and Saka are trying to bring it clear, but they didn't have much else on there. And Nketiah was tackled by Alonso, but Timo Werner got a tackle in. It ricocheted off Alonso, so the throw-in will be Arsenal's halfway inside the Chelsea half. There's been another goal elsewhere. Miguel Almiron has put Newcastle United in front, home to Crystal Palace. So all the 7:45s have got a goal in them. Obviously the 8 o'clock. There's a potential decisive title match because Man City have lost the lead in the standings after Liverpool thrashed Manchester United last night. They haven't taken the lead yet against Brighton, but as we know, Brighton have found a bit of form beating at both North London sides away from home the last 2 matches. Here come Chelsea trying to take the lead for the first time. Mason Mount under pressure from Xhaka again does well to hold it up. Support comes from Azpilicueta and Reece James. Now Loftus-Cheek, although it's rather laboured, and Arsenal have got plenty back behind the ball. Reece James is looking for an option. There isn't one. Goes back to the centre circle. Sarr then feeds it out to Alonso on the left, but again it's back to walking pace. It's been quite a high tempo half for most of it. Good side into getting their bodies forward, so plenty of energy expended as Chelsea try and make advantage of their superior possession, which perhaps isn't quite 71% as it was earlier in this half, but it's certainly in their advantage for sure. Admittedly, they're going nowhere at the moment, with Christensen, last man, having it on the halfway line. Reece James then treads on the ball. He's still got possession. Smith Rowe is trying to hound a mistake out of him, but can't quite do so. Chelsea now retreating into their own half. Azpilicueta forward towards Mason Mount, but he's tackled well by Tavares, and now Saka brings it forward, finds Odegaard, who's got Nketiah out to the left. He's just forced Nketiah a little bit wide, but he's comfortably in possession. Now he's got Christensen on the back pedal. He's into the box, left edge, play off to Tavares. It's wayward. Tavares has to go and retrieve it, and then it's played back towards Gabriel on the halfway line. And Arsenal perhaps have lost the chance, but they do have the ball. 37 minutes ticking over at Stamford Bridge. Unofficial Tube Studio commentary. 2-2, end-to-end stuff really. Keepers haven't made too many saves, that's for sure. As Xhaka to thread it through to Tavares, but well, it wasn't a great pass, but then Chelsea had caught in possession, but then Tavares underhits the pass to Odegaard, and Timo Werner tracking back has won it back. He's under pressure, does well, feeding it out to Mason Mount on the right. He goes for the crossfield ball to Marcos Alonso, who takes a touch, volleys it towards goal, but it's high and wide off the near post. Could have been spectacular had he gone first time. Didn't need to because the space was there. Possibly he wished he had done now.
It's a wonderful pass by Mason Mount after some brilliant play by Werner to hold on to the ball in a tight area to get away from the likes of Nketiah, Odegaard and Granit Xhaka. And the vision to spot Marcos Alonso from Mason Mount it's almost a pinpoint accuracy. And I don't think the shot was on to hit it first time as much as it would have been spectacular if he managed to convert from that position. Takes it down well, but I think then Ben White puts just enough pressure on him to force the effort over the crossbar. But there's a decent opportunity that for Chelsea.
Yes, half chance. It's probably the first Chelsea chance since their equaliser. The second equaliser is Loftus-Cheek almost forced the mistake out of Gabriel. I beg your pardon, it's Mason Mount. He's full of energy, as we know. Now he's putting pressure on Ramsdale clearance. Kante has for Chelsea. The clearance did make it to the centre circle, and so Arsenal have quickly funneled back behind the ball. With around about 6.5 minutes to go to the break. Obviously, we've had 4 goals. There might be a little bit of stoppage time. There's Timo Werner under pressure. He's found a bit of form of late for the Blues. Personally, I didn't think he took the right option for his goal, but he scored. And obviously equalised at the time, but he's finding some form for the Blues as Marcos Alonso has just got Saka there after a pretty poor pass from Werner, having talked him up. Saka's caught, free kick to Arsenal just outside their own box. Not an awful lot in it considering what else has been let go, but a free kick all the same.
Yeah, but I don't think there was too much nastiness there, just more of a collision than anything. John Moss has tried to let things go wherever possible to try and keep it a free-flowing game, and that has made it a very enjoyable watch, as I think that maybe that's what as we see a replay of the tackle between Mason Mount and Ben White that was before the Azpilicueta goal. I don't think there's enough in it for me for a free kick to be awarded there, so I think VAR did get that decision right, as Nketiah looked to try and play it down the line for it to go out of play for, I think, a corner kick. It might be a throw-in just by the far left corner flag, though, and it is going to be a throw-in. But with 5 minutes to go, you probably wouldn't bet that it's going to remain 2-2 come the half-time interval.
Yeah, 2-2 in this game. It's still Leicester 1-0 up at Everton. Newcastle are 1-0 up at home to Crystal Palace, and slightly later kick-off, so around about the 26-minute mark. Man City, Brian, still goalless. Music to the ears of Liverpool fans, of course, as Arsenal have got their own issues, so they're trying to get into the top 4. And they did a pretty big win to do it today. 3 points would take them level with Spurs, but they've got some goal difference to make up on their arch rivals. Here they are, pressing for a goal again. Xhaka left of the D, took 2 touches really, couldn't get the shot in, it was blocked at source. Azpilicueta is then caught in the face by Tavares' cross. And do you know what, the referee has stopped play. I mean, it was the ball rather than anything else. I think that's a little bit generous, particularly for the defending side. It's not as if he's been kicked in the head, but a chance to break us or put the pressure on is ended by the referee.
Yeah, I know Xhaka can strike balls very, very sweetly. So if it has clocked Azpilicueta square in the face, then it's not really surprising that he went down in the way he did. And obviously when that happens, the priority must be a concern and the safety of the player. Yes, because it is the ball, maybe there is an argument that play could have and should have resumed, and Arsenal will feel aggrieved that they weren't allowed to continue their attack from a very promising area. At the end of the day, it's a head injury. You can't take chances with these sort of things.
Guy Tata's got plenty to say to the fourth official, incidentally, as Sarah's just caught Nketiah. I don't think the referee wanted to blow up for a free kick, but Saka has stopped in possession and he's pointing to Nketiah down on the ground. So the referee, I presume, is going to give Arsenal the free kick. No advantage there. And obviously Nketiah, as the striker, is on the floor in pain, so not much of an advantage. as Arsenal try and get back in front for a third time. We've got about 3 minutes to go. Well, certainly till 45 minutes is up. We might get a couple of minutes added on time, because as I say, we've had 4 goals. 2-2, Chelsea coming twice from behind, sharing the spoils at the moment. Obviously, it will just extend their gap over 4th place as they look to secure 3rd. Free kick is worked out to the left-hand side. Tavares then caught in possession by Loftus-Cheek, who's gone early towards Timo Werner, but that ball never quite had the propulsion behind it. And El Neni wins the header. Werner was kind of like the meat in the sandwich. Here's Nketiah, 30 yards out, poor pass. As Sarr half clears. Kante, though, can't get the better of Xhaka, and Arsenal still have the attack with Odegaard thinking about a shot, maybe, works it out to Saka, right edge of the box, one-on-one with Alonso again, coming onto his left foot this time, crosses towards the far post, and Mendy, well, he went to catch it, realised no one was behind, let it go, and it's going to be a goal kick.
It was decent play that by Saka. Stood up Alonso, got it onto his favourite left foot. I think he's hoping for a more of a run from Tavares, but he's always being marshalled by Azpilicueta. Maybe the better option would have been to go short to Odegaard on the edge of the area, who was begging for the ball, so we could maybe go for an effort on goal. But it really could have gone either way. I'm not sure Saka will be too disheartened by that, nor will Mikel Arteta, who's probably seen he'll be relatively happy with what he's seen from his side going forward, because they have been dangerous. But he's going to have some stern words with the defending, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's certainly had some stern words, as I say, with the 4th official. So I don't think he's getting the rub of the green. I don't think he thinks he's getting the rub of the green, Mikel Arteta. Seen so much of Thomas Tuchel on the touchline. About a minute left of the 45. As Odegaard takes it in the centre circle, holds off a clumsy challenge from Timo Werner, finds Ben White, and to Saka, one-on-one again with Alonso. So defensive support is coming. That's a lovely ball to Odegaard, who's thinking about a shot again, 25 yards now. No, Emile Smith-Rowe trying to jig his way through. It could be a great goal. Oh, he's put it wide of the post. Done all the hard work, beating 3 or 4 players with the ball just tied to his foot. Left 4 defenders in his wake, but then fired wide of the post. Mendy didn't move. This is on target. It's a goal. Did fantastically well, but then missed the target.
Wow, what fantastic play by Emile Smith-Rowe to keep hold of possession. Around 4 Chelsea players trying to make the tackle. Does so well to hold on to it, get it out of his feet, and open up a chance for an effort on goal. Just doesn't get enough curl on it, and in the end it goes wide of the right-hand post. Another big opportunity that's been weighted from the Gunners. And, well, they're getting closer, though.
Yes, good opportunity as Arsenal try and finish the half strong. 45 minutes is just ticking over. We'll get the minutes added on momentarily. But it's Arsenal on the attack as Tavares is the target down the line forward. Xhaka, Reece James beats him to the ball. Mendy's played it back towards Reece James, but Reece James wasn't expecting it. It's actually gone out of play for a throw in. 2 minutes of stoppage time to be played. We've just entered that. Arsenal on the front foot. 2-2, the score, of course, at Stamford Bridge. Arsenal twice in front, went so close to going in front for a 3rd time through Smith-Rowe. They got a goal just before the break. Tavares has it, trying to take on Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta doesn't buy the shimmy, blocks the attempted cross into touch. Still an Arsenal pro, though. 10 yards from the corner flag, left-hand side. Looking for an option, perhaps in no rush to take it. I'd rather finish the game this end of the field. As he still hasn't taken this throw-in. Finally finds Odegaard, who is closed down quickly, does well to hold it up. Cross from Tavares is deep, and Alonso just for a moment to have misjudged it, but just gets a header away from Saka. Saka will go and retrieve. That's a lovely ball into Ben White, pulls it back towards the penalty spot. It's blocked by N'Golo Kante. Is that a handball by Saka as Sarr was trying to clear it? Saka then tried a nutmeg. Thinks he's got a corner, but free kick is actually going to be Chelsea's. So we've got about 40 seconds left. Arsenal finishing the half pretty strong.
They are finishing strong. They're causing issues on both wings, which is good to see. And well, Arteta, like I mentioned many times already in this commentary, he will be happy with what he's seen from his side going forward. 30 seconds of the game remaining. It's hard to really say who's actually going to be the happier of the 2 managers. Maybe from a possession point of view, it would be Thomas Tuchel. But areas for improvement for both sides. But I can only hope that any defensive strengthening that both sides do doesn't take away from how enjoyable of a watch it's been.
Yeah, we've got about 10 seconds left. Chelsea are on the attack, although that's a heavy touch from Azpilicueta, taking him away from goal. Maybe we won't get a chance for an opportunity now in the seconds that remain. John Moss has had a look at his watch and he's had enough as 2 minutes of added time ticks over. Arsenal second best in terms of possession, but maybe they had more clear-cut chances. Twice they took the lead, twice they've been pegged back, and at the break at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2.
Half-time, it's Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, and then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time, it's Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, and then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time, it's Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, and then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time, it's Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, and then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time, it's Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting. Took the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, and then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time, it's Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, and then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time, it's Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, and then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time is Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, who then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time is Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, who then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time is Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, who then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time is Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, who then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time is Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, who then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time is Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, who then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time is Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, who then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time is Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, who then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time is Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Ødegaard, who then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time is Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, who then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time is Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, who then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time is Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, who then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time is Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, who then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time is Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, who then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time is Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, who then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time is Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, who then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time is Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, who then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time is Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, who then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time is Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, who then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time is Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, who then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time, it's Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, who then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time, it's Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, who then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time, it's Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, who then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time, it's Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek finding Timo Werner. His shot deflecting past Ramsdale into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal retook the lead with Saka finding Ødegaard, who then laid it off to Emile Smith-Rowe, who basically passed it into the bottom left-hand corner before, again, 5 minutes later, Mason Mount with a cross finding Azpilicueta, who converted from close range. Half-time, it's Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. It was the away side that took the lead from a really poor back pass by Christensen, intercepted by Nketiah, who was one-on-one with Mendy, and he slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner. They weren't ahead for long, though. 5 minutes later, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. We'll leave that there because we are underway for the second half of this Premier League encounter between Chelsea and Arsenal. A thrilling first half sees it 2 apiece going into the second period of 45 minutes. I only hope that it's equally as open and as enthralling for the second half, as Arsenal will basically immediately give the ball away as Mount finds Timo Werner on the left-hand side for an early opportunity. Werner trying to get around Ben White and gets a shot away, smashing into the side netting on the right-hand side. It will be an early goal kick for the Gunners. There has been a change at the half-time interval as well, with Andreas Christensen, the man who had the sloppy back pass that allowed Eddie Nketiah to open up the scoring. He has been replaced in the centre of defence by veteran defender Thiago Silva, and that is the only change so far. So ready for the lineups once again. Mendy in goal, Azpilicueta, Silva and Sarr in the defence. James and Alonso the wing-backs, with Kante, Loftus-Cheek and Mount in the middle. Lukaku and Werner leading the line. For Arsenal, it's Ramsdale in goal, White holding, Gabriel and Tavares in defence, Xhaka and El Neni the holding midfielders, with Ødegaard, Saka and Smith-Rowe supporting Eddie Nketiah up top as Ramsdale puts the ball out for a throw-in for Chelsea. It's myself, William Maxwell and Rob Eddy taking you through this one. And, well, a minute into the second half, and, well, Chelsea have really come out of the blocks.
Yeah, I mean, that was a hopeful clearance, really. They were under a bit of pressure, but Mason Mount made the run and nobody tracked him. And Ramsdale's come 20 yards out of his box. I think he just let his presence be known to Mason Mount. England colleagues, of course. There's a slip from Saka. Could be a chance here for Chelsea. It's fallen the way of Alonso, though Arsenal have got plenty back behind the ball. But, yeah, hoping for more of the same, aren't we? Obviously, it was end-to-end stuff. Maybe the coaches will hope for better defending from both sides. And maybe cut out the mistakes because there was some big chances. Arsenal had some big chances. I wonder if they can create as many in this second half, because the possession-wise, Chelsea are on top.
Azpilicueta gets the ball into the area, flicked away by Ben White. It falls to Marcus Alonso, away from Smith-Rowe, gets a shot away, blocks by Holding. Kante brings it back to find the Spaniard Marcus Alonso under pressure from Bukayo Saka. And he'll poke it back towards Malang Sarr, who's got time to turn, and he'll find Thiago Silva. Silva will go back towards the Frenchman Sarr once again. Is Mount. Back again it goes, and Arsenal will continue to press from the front. Keep you up to date on this game and the goals in the other Premier League games. Manchester City versus Brighton, the late kickoff is currently at half-time goalless. As Everton versus Leicester and Newcastle versus Crystal Palace, both of those games are into the second half, with Newcastle and Leicester both winning their respective fixtures by 1-0. Here's Mason Mount for the Blues, looking to spread it to the right-hand side for Reece James. He will try and thread through Lukaku, not the greatest of passes. It's intercepted, cleared away by Gabriel. Erdegaard turns away from Sarr, back towards Ben White, and Arsenal wants to try and kick-start a new attack, with White trying to thread it towards Bukayo Saka. Poor ball, though, by the Arsenal number 4. Now here's Loftus-Cheek, spreading it towards the right-hand side, and Azpilicueta, where there is space for him to move into. Instead, he'll cut back to find Reece James again. James finds support in Thiago Silva. Silva back towards Sarr, now with Timo Werner. Away from Saka. Thiago Silva again. Chelsea, once again, being the dominant side from a possession point of view. James down the line, intending to find Lukaku. It'll be Ramsdale that comes out and gathers. Better goalkeeping that by Arsenal number 32. It's well to claim. He'll look to try and just slow down proceedings. Plays the ball towards the left with the rollout for Gabriel. Nketiah finding Xhaka. Now El Neni under pressure from Mason Mount. Here's Nketiah again, looks for support. Away from Mount again. Here's Tavares. There's a slip for Azpilicueta, but Tavares didn't notice that, so he cuts back and finds El Neni. Xhaka finding Erdegaard on the right-hand side. Back to Xhaka, a bit more central now. Here's El Neni. Moving inside Arsenal, they're doing well to force the Blues further back. Tavares, El Neni, better. El Neni, will he go for goal? He will, blocked well by Ruben Loftus-Cheek. He's had a fantastic game in the middle of the midfield, and there's a slip by Gabriel, which allows Lukaku to hold on to it, and then Werner tries to utilise his pace, and that's it's a good block by Ben White, a vital one. Can't say he knew a great deal about it.
No, and I think there's half a chance there for Lukaku, unfortunately, because Gabriel slipped. It was kind of just blocking Lukaku. I mean, totally accidental, of course, but if it had just been to one side, then obviously he's running clean through. And then Werner has tried, I don't know if it was an attempted nutmeg, but he tried to knock it past White. And of course, that exposed Arsenal there. Despite Arsenal having been on the attack, it didn't take much to expose. I mean, that may be Arsenal's biggest problem, when they're attacking and get bodies forward. They're just a little bit short defensively. Here come Chelsea again.
Lukaku put it through the legs of Gabriel, and the return pass by Werner tries to find Lukaku again, but it's good defending by Granit Xhaka to get his body in front of the Belgium and shepherd it back towards his goalkeeper. It was lovely dribbling by Lukaku to get away from Gabriel. And Werner actually put it through the legs of Holding as well, so both Arsenal centre-backs sort of caught rather the wrong side of the defence there. As Ramsdale looks to pass it out, and he finds Smith Rowe in a good amount of space, and he'll turn and make his way forward for the Gunners, finding Tavares, who gets away from Azpilicueta, finds Granit Xhaka, the support on the right-hand side. He finds it in Erdegaard, who let it squirm out from underneath his feet. Not the greatest of touches there by the Norwegian. There's a sloppy foul by Bukayo Saka, free kick for Chelsea. They'll look to clear their lines. As we're seeing on the screen there, the fewest touches in the game. Lukaku with 18. Arsenal goalkeeper Ramsdale with 18 as well. Smith Rowe and Erdegaard with 23 and 24. The next ones with little touches, but you'd probably say Erdegaard and Smith Rowe, they've done far more with their touches than Lukaku has.
Well, yeah, Smith Rowe scored a goal, so it's not doom and gloom for Lukaku. He started this off a little bit more lively than the last half. Poor mistake from Chelsea. They've given the ball away again. Here come Arsenal.
And Xhaka brings the ball forward, trying to find Smith Rowe. It just scrummed out from underneath his feet, and Reece James will shepherd that backwards towards Edouard Mendy, who immediately rolls the ball out to try and set off Marcos Alonso. Still plenty of end-to-end action in this game. Alonso trying to spread it towards the opposite side for Azpilicueta, who does well to get on the end of it, and he's going to try and make his way down the right-hand side. Cuts back away from Emile Smith-Rowe. Now Ruben Loftus-Cheek for Chelsea under pressure from Nketiah. Turns away from him and finds Kante. N'Golo Kante finding Mason Mount, held up by El Neni. Werner towards Sarr. Chelsea slowing down the tempo again, though. Play it towards the right now in James. 1-2 with Loftus-Cheek. Back again towards Thiago Silva. But under pressure, lifts it towards Azpilicueta, who can't do anything with the header. And that goes out for a throw-in, as we see Arteta on the sidelines just trying to get a little bit more life into his team, at least from a pressing point of view. They've got a fair few youngsters on the bench making up the numbers of the Gunners, and they've got likes of Bernd Leno, Lacazette, Lokonga, Martinelli, Pepe and Suarez to bring on. And looking at the players on the bench, you probably only say over the course of the season that Martinelli has played to the best of his abilities. Everyone else, there's a reason why they're on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we talked about Lacazette. I mean, what did he say, 4 goals this season?
Yeah.
7 assists, that's not a great return. And, I think he's had a decent Arsenal career, but this season, maybe it's because he knows it's his last, his heart's not in it. I think Arteta's said something along those lines. Recently he's been talking to other clubs. I mean, he's an option if they want a goal, but like you say, Martinelli's probably the obvious one form-wise. Pepe, I don't think has quite hit his stride since that big money move to England, but obviously he's got the potential. I really think Arsenal should exploit Marcos Alonso at left back, and even Azpilicueta at right wing back, because he's not perhaps as quick as he used to be. And Arsenal were getting a bit of joy down the flanks, but I don't think they've sustained it often enough. Here they come again, though.
Emile Smith-Rowe bringing the ball forward, had support in Tavares, instead cuts back and goes towards the right-hand side in Ødegaard, has support in Granit Xhaka, looks to play the acute through ball towards Nketiah, goes down on the collision with Thiago Silva, and then Saka tries to make his way forward. Does it come off Thiago Silva? It has. That'll be a corner kick for the Gunners. They were appealing for a penalty. Personally, I didn't see a great deal wrong there from Thiago Silva, and he's not known to commit a sloppy foul in the box, and, well, I don't think there's anything in that at all from Thiago Silva.
Yeah, he got close, but he's not really making a tackle as such. I don't know if he just clipped the heel before the ball arrived at Nketiah. Arsenal haven't made a big meal of it. I think Ben White just mentioned it to the referee before his corner on his way past, but it didn't look an awful lot. It wasn't a challenge as such, but he might have accidentally just trod on his heel.
The cross into the area for the corner kick, the flick away by Alonso. That's going to be brought back for the corner to be retaken, as there was some pushing and shoving inside the area. I think between Malang Sarr and Gabriel, Lukaku is just making the point as well, just for less of the pushing and the shoving. As Sarr and Lukaku just having a few words with assuming the technical staff at Chelsea to try and work out who's meant to be marking who. It will be Bukayo Saka that looks to take this corner kick from the far right-hand side. Holding, Gabriel as options. Holding is being pushed and shoved by a mixture of Reece James and other Chelsea players. Saka with the ball in, header away by Lukaku. It'll be a race between Smith-Rowe and Timo Werner. It's going to get brought back though for a foul given away by an Arsenal man. So it will be a free kick for Chelsea. Though I'm not really sure exactly who that is against, but I mean, with the amount of pushing and shoving in there, it could have easily gone either way.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a penalty if it goes the other way. Maybe referees are reluctant to give a penalty for a bit of jostling in the box, but obviously when defenders just get left by little darts, the arms do come out. It happens both ends of the pitch in every game, but you just wonder when one of the refs is going to penalise the defenders. But yeah, it always seems a little bit unfair when attackers get penalised just because the ball's come in. Here come Chelsea.
Werner trying to find Azpilicueta, sends him a little bit far wide, but he does well to keep the ball in play and find Reece James. James goes back towards Thiago Silva. 56 minutes gone in this game. Listening to unofficial off-tube studio commentary. Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2, the current scoreline as Alonso goes back towards Malang Sarr, away from Ødegaard, now finding Thiago Silva again. Reece James with the through ball intending for Azpilicueta. Not a great pass though, and the pace of Tavares might cause Chelsea some issues as he plays the ball through to Nketiah. It's a great turn. It falls back to Nketiah. Can he squirm it out? He can, and he somehow put the ball into the back of the net. Horror defending again from Chelsea, and Eddie Nketiah reacting in time to poke it past Mendy into the bottom right-hand corner. Arsenal have taken a lead for the third time in this game. Can they hold on to this one?
Well, Chelsea haven't started the second half particularly well, and this is just poor defending. It's a little bit unfortunate, maybe, first time, because Silva's tackle took it away from Nketiah, and maybe saw it was too close to him to react, but then he had a second bite of the cherry to try and clear it. Sometimes you just got to put your boot through it. I think he should have done better on the first touch. Obviously, we need to point out that Azpilicueta's given the ball away to start with. Nice little turn, but I mean, what's Sarr doing? Arguably 3 times he could have cleared that ball. Take nothing away from Nketiah. He's kept his wits about him, and finally he's put it in the back of the net. But I mean, I just see in a replay, I don't know what he's doing there for the first one. I thought it might have hit him, but he's definitely motioned towards the ball. Just what is he doing? And then it's poor defending from there on in. And he's bundled it home. Nketiah, not his prettiest finish, not as cool as the first one, but it's a finish that might matter. Just under an hour gone. Arsenal back in front for a third time in this contest. 2-3.
Yes, and it is Eddie Nketiah getting his second goal of the game, his first Premier League brace, and well, what a time to get it. He's been asking for more first-team football, and well, he's playing like a man who is maybe hankering for a move away, or maybe just trying to get that starting spot as an opportunity. Might fall to Mason Mount, cleared away by Nuno Tavares again, and well, every time Chelsea come forward, they look dangerous, and well, particularly in that 5-minute spell after Arsenal take the lead, they're looking incredibly likely to get a goal back. And well, these next 5 minutes are going to be pivotal for Arsenal just to hold on to this lead and maybe just compose themselves.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Chelsea started the second half quite slow, and obviously they've been made to pay for it. I mean, it was a poor pass from Azpilicueta, although I don't know why he's playing ahead of Reece James in the first place. I think there'd be more sort of energy in Chelsea's attacks if they had James on this right flank over Azpilicueta, who's of course got a goal. They're trying to make me look stupid. But I think the overall balance of the game, I think it'd improve it. But obviously we'll see how Chelsea responds. I mean, Arsenal twice have had the lead. This looks offside to me, and Nketiah will be pulled back. But Arsenal haven't protected the lead for very long. Was it 4 and 5 minutes? So it's been 2 minutes right now. We'll see if they can make it last longer. But there's just a brightness about Arsenal when they get possession high up the field. They've caused problems whenever they've done it. Chelsea have done the same. The defending hasn't been fantastic, so it's not out beyond the realms of possibility that Arsenal are going to answer this tally. But in terms of Chelsea getting back into it, I just think they need to up the pace.
As the ball is floated long intended towards Mason Mount, his cushioned pass towards Timo Werner is hammered away by Timo Werner. Looks like Kai Havertz is going to get ready to come on for Chelsea, and he's going to replace Romelu Lukaku, so it's yet another game that the Belgian can't complete a full 90 minutes on. It's just the hour for him, and well, it might make things actually a tad easier for Arsenal from a defensive point of view, so they don't have that physical presence of Lukaku to worry about.
Well, I mean, you say that. I mean, he hasn't featured in this game, has he? That would be the worry for Arsenal, because Havertz is going to be better because he was practically non-existent. Lukaku, big, cumbersome, poor first touch. Yes, he might have got on the end of a set piece or something, but he just looks laboured. He looks a little bit short of match fitness as well. Maybe understandable, he's not playing so often. And Havertz is a little bit more versatile, but perhaps pacey, he'll make better runs. I mean, he can't play any worse than Lukaku because, as I say, he was a non-entity in this contest.
As Havertz plays a back heel trying to find Werner, it's turned away by Gabriel, and Saka, well, he thought he kept it in play, but in the end he just sliced it a tad further. Will be a throw-in for Chelsea, midway inside the Arsenal half. Alonso will be the man that comes over to take this. Alonso now finding Havertz away from White, and he gets across towards Werner. Alonso trying to get away from El Neni, shot well blocked by Rob Holding. Brave defending by the Arsenal number 16, but Thiago Silva looks to float it towards the left-hand side, and does. It's a good pass towards Havertz. Havertz looking to take on Saka, 1-2 with Alonso. Saka with a vital touch to it to send it out for a corner kick, but Chelsea growing in their press and making it more and more difficult for this Arsenal side to get out and try and increase their advantage. Backs the walls defending maybe for Arsenal. So, corner kick, Mason Mount. Floats it into the area. Will it be cleared away? It's not the greatest defending, but it falls to Alonso. Reece James, he gets across, blocked by Saka. Back towards Marcos Alonso. Goes back towards Malang Sarr, under pressure from Ødegaard. Kante, back towards Sarr again. Patience to find Reece James. And Arsenal doing well to hold their shape and keep Chelsea at bay. Kante finding support in the form of Mount. Mount's cross in is left by everyone, and Ramsdale will happily gather. And I think that now makes it more minutes from where they held on to the lead for the last 2 goals.
Yeah, I mean, it's already a sort of difference already. There's more fluidity about the attack because Havertz might pop on the left, through the middle, out on the right. He wants to link up with Timo Werner. He's got a bit of pace and mobility about him. So we'll see how it pans out. I mean, Chelsea just need to play better, I think, because, I mean, both sides have defended poorly, really. And Arsenal have been guilty of making mistakes, but they haven't really been put under enough pressure in this second half. It is already starting to mount, but you'd expect that with Chelsea chasing the game. But I want to see more from the front three. I think Loftus-Cheek could be a little bit more involved in the central area, because I don't think he's quite done enough to dislodge others, particularly with Chelsea having played poorly at the back themselves. So he's not offering defensive protection, and I don't think he's done enough with the ball at his feet. And as I say, I've already said it, I would want James out on the right, not Azpilicueta.
Here's Timo Werner trying to get away from Ben White, and he's been bundled over, but no foul, says Jonathan Moss. Advantage being played. Here's Mason Mount getting away from El Neni. Now with Sarr towards Thiago Silva. Looks like that has actually been the change, with Azpilicueta going towards centre-back, Reece James going towards the right as Loftus-Cheek just about finds Kai Havertz. Havertz to Loftus-Cheek. Back it goes towards Thiago Silva again. 64 minutes gone, listening to unofficial off-tube studio commentary. Chelsea 2, Arsenal 3. Loftus-Cheek going back towards Malang Sarr. Here's Mason Mount, has the overlap in Werner. Will he utilise him? He takes his time and he'll go the opposite direction, finding Loftus-Cheek. And now Reece James. No real runners in the area yet, and then gets a dangerous ball in. Ramsdale gets two hands to it. The effort by Alonso, cleared by Gabriel, and then Ben White will look to try and put his boot through it, and eventually does. Scrappy defending, but it's just about enough for Arsenal.
Yeah, Sarr just made a mistake at the other end, and now he's trying to rectify it with a foul. That'll be a free kick, could be a booking, but yeah, I mean. James, it wasn't an awful. Arsenal attacking them.
Nketiah inside the penalty area, trying to poke it out towards Saka, gets a shot blocked by Alonso. Back to Ødegaard. I think there was an offside decision anyway on Eddie Nketiah, so it'll be brought back full. They've got backup goalkeeper in the form. From a Chelsea point of view, they've got a very favourable bench to choose from. The only issue being they've only got one sub left.
Yeah. That's true. On the bench, it's quite a strong bench. Arsenal seem to see. I don't think they've done enough running. So in the first half there was a high press, wasn't there? Maybe if the second half had been like that, Arsenal would be worried about fatigue. But it's been quite a laboured start to the second half of Chelsea. It's just starting to get going. But I think Arsenal don't necessarily need to freshen things up right now. They still look dangerous on the counter.
Yes, they do, as James goes back towards Azpilicueta. Werner inside the area, trying to get away from Xhaka. Gets a shot away, got curl behind him, and not enough on it. Eventually that goes quite comfortably wide of Aaron Ramsdale's goal, and it'll go out for a goal kick. A stat did just come on our screen a few minutes ago. Both sides